Yes, sir.
Okay, so just I'm going to share the screen and thereafter I'm going to start something and let us discuss something about the uh, subjects. So just I'm sharing the screen first. So just ask to them all that once we are going to start the class, thereafter I'm not going to allow to anyone. So this is the instructions that they all have to join before starting the class. अभी और वेट कर ले लोगों का या वी आर सपोज टू स्टार्ट देयर आर 15 स्टूडेंट्स 8 वेट करना चाहिए दो चार मिनट
जी सर, 2 मिनट वेट कर लेते हैं।
ठीक है ठीक है So I think it's enough. We are supposed to start, is it? ठीक है Okay, so is it visible to you all? The screen is visible to you all? Solar cell where PN junction is going to be formed. So let me describe this is the P and this is N. So if this is P and this is N, it means it is going to donate the electrons at the junctions. So a positive charge ionic core is going to develop here, positive ionic cores. Let me take the 3 positive ionic core for better clarity, since everything is going to happen at this ionic core only. So for that reason only I am just creating little broader this depletion region here. So this is the broader depletion region now I have created for better understanding. So what's actually happening? So above, outside this, here the excess electrons are here, and this is the holes region. So you will get majority carriers here as a hole, and you will get majority carriers here as a electrons. But in between, this is a region where electric field direction is of this, and they have already donated electron here to this hole where electrons having the deficient. So these charges are now neutral charges. So what will happen if suppose light is going to fall over here? If the light has sufficient energy that they could be able to eject electrons from this outermost orbits. If suppose electrons is going to be created from here, then what is going to happen? Because of this electric field influence, since this is the electric field is already being created because of the depletion region, positive charge and negative charges. So this electric field, once electrons are going to be generated from here because of this sun, light falling of this sunlight over this depletion region, these electrons are, because of the influence of this electric field, they are going to be pushed towards this directions, and excess electrons are going to be created in this region where already having the majority charge carriers of electrons. The same way, whatever electrons has been created here, they have been pushed this directions. What will happen to this hole? Since once electron is to be generated from here, once one electron has been just moved out from this cell or this ionic core, it remains the hole only. So what about these holes? These holes will be get pushed because of this electric field in these directions, and this excess holes, let me denote it by here, excess holes are going to be created at this region where already holes are in majority charge carriers. So someone is going to tell me that what is going to become here the potentials, about the potentials, what is going to be potentials here? Because of positive charges are going to be accumulated this side, so it is going to become plus positive potentials are going to be developed. Since in beginning, once it is to be depletion region is to be formed, it was having the zero potentials here and here, no potentials were there. But once, because of the sunlight, this emission, this falling of this sunlight or radiation of this light over depletion region, excess charge, positive charges are going to be accumulated here. So positive potentials are going to be built here. And similarly, because of excess electrons are going to be created here, and negative potentials are going to be created here. What does it mean? It means if you are going to fall, the more and more light, more and more positive charges are going to be created here, more and more positive potentials are going to be built here, and more negative charges are going to be built across this side. So this is said to be there, although you have not just connected this circuitry to anywhere. So this is the open circuitry, And if open circuitry is there and you do have the IV characteristics, so you have the IV characteristics in this fashion. So what will happen if it is to be open, if circuit is to be open, then what is to be about the current? As we discussed in electronics, if there is an open circuit, then current is going to become zero, where voltage is going to become infinite, theoretically, in open circuit. So since this circuit is open circuit, so its current is going to be somewhere having the zero value. This is I, this is the V. So if current is going to become zero, then it is going to acquire, depends on how much light you have just passes through this depletion region. That much potentials are going to be created somewhere here, and that is to be positive potentials or the negative potentials. Someone is going to answer me. Is it the positive potentials or the negative potentials? If positive, then why positive? If negative, then why negative? Students, your turn. We are discussing something fundamental about solar cell. I hope you are going to get the things in a well manner. Will it, these potentials are going to be here, or these potentials are going to be at this side?
Negative side.
This side. This side. Students. Students. It is going to become this side only. Reason why we always going to be having the positive side on P side and negative having the electron this side. So we always going to measure the potential somewhere in this region. So if it is to be this plus and this is minus, we used to say the positive value. If it is to be plus and this is minus, then we used to say negative value. So P always going to define P. If P is higher, then it is in the forward bias, it is having the positive value. So it is going to become on this side only, and it is said to be the VOC, open circuit voltage. In the other way, if you are going to short this circuit, completely sorting you are going to do. If you are sorting this circuitry, let me how it is to be, anyway, just you be here, this is I. So if suppose this is sorted here, once it is sorted, then what is going to happen? Whatever the excess electrons are here, though all the excess electrons are going to be just taking out, it is going to be just rush, because it is having the least resistance. So least resistance, then having the concentration gradient, all the electrons will rush there, run there, and they are going to just recombine with the holes, and these holes are going to get recombined and become the neutralized. In these situations, what will happen? It is going to move a huge current, and that is to be the short circuit current. So in the short circuit, what we discussed in our class, electronic class, I is going to become infinite and V tends to 0 during the short circuiting. So V is equal to 0, then ISC is going to be the maximum current that we used to say infinite value. So this ISC is to be the positive ISC or negative ISC. Who is going to tell? This current is to be positive current or negative current?
The positive.
This is going to become,
Positive.
who said positive? Can you tell your name?
Sir Vinod Patel, because the current flowing from an N type to P type. Sir,
Who tell your name?
Sir Vinod Patel, sir.
Okay, Vinod Patel, on what basis you are saying that this is positive?
Sir, because the current is flowing from N type to P type.
How can you say, since you see the depletion region is here, this is the depletion region. If I can change the color, let me try to changing the color, then I may be able to clearly. If you see the depletion region, this is the depletion region, and you said once light is going to fall over the depletion region, electrons are going to be pushed from this direction towards this side. So electrons are moving from p side towards n side, means electrons are moving towards n side, means it is coming from p side. It looks like it's coming from p side and coming to n side. If you're having the diodes and electrons are moving from p to n, then it means currents are moving opposite to it. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
So this is current. Maximum current is not going to become positive, rather it is going to be negative, and somewhere when potential is zero, it will lie somewhere here, and that is said to be the short circuit current. So if you see, if you are going to make connect here from here to here, this will looks like somewhere in this manner.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Huh?
Hello, sir.
Tell me.
But sir, in external circuit, the current is flowing from N to P, na, sir?
First, you Vinod is speaking. Who is speaking?
Sir Vinod, sir.
What you are asking?
Sir, I am saying in external circuit, current is flowing from N to P, na? That's why I am saying IST will be positive.
No, you never judge about external circuit. Always judge based on this region, how current is flowing. If current N to P is current is coming from in this direction, it means your current direction is this, N to P. Here this current, what I mention here, this is the movement of electron. This is the movement of electron. Since electrons, excess electrons are here, these electrons, what about it? These electrons are moving from this side to this side, and they are going to recombine with hole. Once they are going to recombine, means if electrons are moving from this side, then your current direction is certainly off from this to this side. You know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So if we are here, then why we are supposed to be back? We are not supposed to be back here. So I think you got the point. This is to be the curve looks like here when there is short circuiting and open circuit voltage. This is short circuit current and this is the open circuit voltage. Anyone have any doubt up to here? If not, then what about here? What about here? What about if you are going to push negative potentials here? If you are going to give the negative potentials here, then what is going to happen? If you are going to give the negative potentials here, say for if it is going to become, this is P to N and N to P, then what is going to happen? Whatever the holes are here created, they are just going to be taken by these lower potentials. And whatever electrons are here, they are going to absorb by these higher potentials. So on this basis, your potentials are not going to be whatever the currents are there, currents are not going to be changed. Reason why currents are going to be generated based on how many electrons are going to be generated from here to there and how many holes are just back to here. That numbers are going to be fixed by it. So whatever negative potentials you are going to apply, your currents are going to remain same and it is not going to be changed. Whereas the case is same if instead of this we are going to put the positive potentials here. If it is to be positive potentials, at that time what will happen? It is going to create whatever the situations here, the same situations are going to be created by here, means excess electron holes are to be here, excess electrons to be here. So on this case, if you are going to do in this manner, then you are pushing these electrons to move towards this direction. Then what will happen? It is going to become the same way straightforward. If you see this circuitry is exactly the circuitry what you have learned in your PN junction diode, normal PN junction diode. Whatever you have learned, it is somewhere looks like in similar fashion. Only this excess lower potentials because of this creation of electrons to this side to that hole in other side. Is it clear you all? Up to here is it okay? If it is okay, then I have to move ahead. Anyone have any doubt? If not, then this is the case. So you are there? अभी आवाज जा रही है?
Yes, sir.
So you all have disconnected. It's a very So is it visible to you all? दिख रहा है? So ये पीपीटी, ये वाला पॉइंट जो हमने डिस्कस किया पीपीटी, आप लोग इसके साथ थे? Have you gone through this PPT, what I discussed? Students?
तो फर्स्ट स्लाइड तक ही थे सर।
इस पीपीटी को नहीं डिस्कस की, इस पीपीटी को नहीं सुने हो?
सर आप डिस्कनेक्ट हो गए थे और वॉइस नहीं आ रही थी सर।
So up to here you are there.
यस सर।
Yes, sir.
Okay, तो यहाँ तक कोई क्वेरी तो नहीं है? किसी की कोई क्वेरी है? Student?
No.
Okay, so thereafter I was discussing that in a general sense, if you see, then you do have this region. This is the region where you have the reverse or negative bias, reverse biasing or negative biasing, where actually this photodiode work. Photodiode used to work in the reverse bias only. So in reverse bias, it looks like in this fashion. Whereas this is the region I used to tell that if VOC is going to have in this manner graph, means ISC remains constant current value up to all VOC, whatever load you are going to apply, its current remains going to be same. Then it is said to be its fill factor is going to become 1. But normally it has been seen that if you are applied the load, then your current and voltage is going to appear somewhere V1 and I1. So if you are going to make a triangle here between this where you got the value V1 and I1, then the ratio of V1 I1 to VOC ISC is going to tell you about the fill factor. And at the same time, you have never seen this graph, since graph is always having the way of representing some phenomenon. So instead of having this way, this graph is used to represent in this manner, in the positive fashions, and it is going to look like in this way. In all the photodiodes, IV characteristics is going to become, its inverse picture is going to be taken, and it is going to be represented in this fashion. Let me draw it again. It is going to be shown always in this way, So whatever we are looking here, this is the true picture, how it works, but it is going to be represented in papers, manuscript, or in the published paper. If you will find, your IV characteristics is going to be seen in this way. So it's nothing, it's only the representations that actual things are going to happen in this way, but it is to be in the third and fourth quadrant. If you are going to make its image, you are going to you are going to be available in the first and second quadrant. So it's nothing, it's always going to be presented in this manner, but don't be confused if you are going to look the graph in this way. whatever is to be here, or in this way, whatever is to be here. So in both the graph, you don't have to confuse, only it has been the representation. But next I used to tell here, what I was explaining here, that if you see here, this is the N junctions, this is the N junction, N type semiconductor. This is a P type semiconductor. It normally depends that if electrons are going to be created from here, and once they are going to be accumulated here, and same way holes are going to be accumulated here, you must have the materials. Whatever materials you are having, that materials having the availability that they can accommodate more and more electrons in the zone of N region, as well as more and more holes in the P region, apart from what are they are having. So in beginning it was tried using silicon and germanium, but as time, since you see, if electrons have been generated, there are no way out that you have to store more and more electrons here. One circuitry is going to be connected here. Those electrons are required to rush from this point towards the load, whatever you have put here. Either the load, or you are having somewhere the battery connections, where battery having the cathode and anode, and they are going to accommodate, those electrons are going to be accommodated in such a way that they are going to be associated in compound format somewhere in the cathode, or if it is going to be charged, then it is going to accommodate in the anode portions, and when it is going to be discharged, these electrons, excess electrons, are going to be passed to the load. So either you are going to take the load from here on the basis of as and when required, or simultaneously you put here the load, whatever electrons are going to be generated there, they are going to be passed through the load, and your device is going to work simultaneously as solar cell is going to work. So in this process, the important point is that how many electrons are going to get accommodated in N-type semiconductor, what you have prepared in your materials. If they are going to accommodate more and more electrons, those materials are going to be good materials for the solar cell fabrication. For that reason, either you go with the silicon germanium, or you go with the compound of this silicon germanium. You may go with the direct indirect solar cell, you may go with the dye synthesized solar cell, you may go with the organic solar cell, you may go with the inorganic solar cell, inorganic materials for the solar cell. It doesn't matter at all. In all the cases, you have to take care, is electrons, more and more electrons are going to be get accumulated, are going to be accommodated in the N-type semiconductors, apart from whatever they are having as their own electrons. Since they are having whatever electrons they are having their own, it is not going to be counted during the solar cell working. What has been created because of this light from the depletion region, they are going to take place in the solar cell working. Yes, student, if you do have any query more, you may ask. Otherwise, with this much introductions, I am going to keep on closing this solar cell chapter. If you do have any query, you may ask. Any type query. Otherwise, it will go a long way. It doesn't matter. Here only the way out I told you. If anyone have any curiosity apart from this, you may ask. Students, है किसी की क्यूरियोसिटी? If no, then go for the attendance. Today is 16. So all of you there?
Yes, sir.
Anjana,
Present, sir.
Asghar, Atul, Brahmanand,
Present, sir.
Abdul, Diya, Ipsita, Kalpana, Kiran, Kuldeep,
Present, sir.
Magan, Murli,
Present, sir.
Namita,
Present, sir.
Namita,
Present, sir.
Naveen,
Present, sir.
Namita is there. Namita, I have put. Namita is there.
Yes, sir. Present, sir.
Naveen. I have put.
Hello, sir.
What's I think OSCR in your class?
Sir, speak.
Sir.
Naveen,
Yes, sir.
Naveen, you are CR?
Yes, sir.
You are Naveen. Just you take the attendance and put me in the A4 side sheet. Share with me in the this WhatsApp in A4 side sheet.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Share it. Okay. Good luck to you all.